Hello, students and professor. Today we're going to talk about life in Oymyakon Russia. These individuals do not have the luxuries that we have here in the United States uh, due to the fact that they endure harsh, frigid winters and harsh temperatures. Oymyakon has the lowest recorded temperature of any permanently inhabited place on Earth. So let's get into our objectives and see what we're going to talk about. Our first set of objectives includes your location, your population. We're going to talk about the type of climate found in Oymyakon. We're going to define that climate. We're going to discuss the average temperature for every single month of the year. And then we're going to talk about the daylight hours throughout the year also. Our second set of objectives is really what I based this presentation about. It's how people survive in the daily life. We're going to talk about the shelter, their warmth, food, where they work at, shopping. We're going to talk about the clothing they wear, transportation, how they get around from place to place on the daily. We're going to talk about how they communicate, schools, and at the end we're going to have a brief summary. This brings us to our first point. So where is Oymyakon located? It's located in the Oymyakonsky district of Sakharia, Republic of Russia. It's located along the Indrigrik River. Our next point, we're going to talk about the population. The population, Oymyakon has a population of just 500 people. Going back to what I said in the beginning, this village has the lowest recorded temperature for any permanently inhabited place on the face of the earth. What type of climate does Oymyakon have? Oymyakon has a subarctic climate. Just saying subarctic makes me feel cold and looking at that picture in the background. A subarctic climate defined. Subarctic climate is a climate that is characterized by long, usually very frigid winters and short to cool, mild summers, sometimes also referred to as subpolar climate. And again, you can just see in the background a picture of an iceberg up there. This right here, we're going to go into a discussion the average temperature year round. Up there, they use Celsius, so to the left here, I kind of made a Celsius chart of what they refer to as their temperature, and then I converted it to what we use here in the United States, which of course is Fahrenheit. We're going to talk about Celsius first. In January, you're looking at negative 47 degrees. February, you're looking at negative 42.9. March, you're looking at negative 32.4. April, you're looking at negative 14.4. May, you're looking at 1.9. June 11.6. July 13.8. August 10.1. September 1.7. October negative 16.1. November negative 37.2. And December negative 45.6. And then we're going to convert it into Fahrenheit. That leads to negative 52.6 in January, negative 45.22 in February, negative 26.32 in March, 6.08 in April, 35.42 in May, 52.88 in June, 56.84 in July, 50.18 in August, 35.06 in September. October, you're looking at 3.02. November, you're looking at 34.96. And then December, you're looking at negative 50.08. So as you can see, they do get above freezing, but it's just April through September, if it's an average year. And to the right here, I also have a little chart if you want to pause the video and kind of look at it that I got offline. It was the closest thing to match the chart that I made. Just a fun little fact here. On February 6th, 1993, a temperature of negative 67.7 degrees Celsius, which is negative 90 degrees Fahrenheit, was recorded, which was the lowest recorded temperature of any permanently inhabited location on Earth. I mean, could you imagine just going outside and it being negative 90 degrees? Next, we're going to talk about how long are the days. Days vary from 3 hours in January, which is the heart of the winter, and to 21 hours in July, which of course is the heart of their summer. But as you can see, the chart, the highest it really gets is 56, maybe, if you're lucky. So the next thing we're going to talk about here is how people survive and the lives of the residents day in and day out. Again, going back to the beginning, these people are true hunters and gatherers and survivors. They don't have the luxuries that we have here in the United States. They endeavor some harsh winters there. So that brings us to our first point, shelter. Typically, the average shelter up there is 500 square feet or less. Uh, Again, that goes back to having more to heat and making your resources go further. Most buildings are made of wood frame construction, at least residential buildings. Due to the readiness and the availability of that material, they don't really travel a lot. So just a question here. You need to go to the bathroom. This may just sound like something silly here in America or second nature. But of course up there where it's so cold, water has a freezing point of negative 32 degrees, so they can't lay pipes in the ground because the ground's permanently frozen and they'd have all kinds of busted water lines. So most residential structures don't have an indoor toilet. They all have outhouses, which they have to use. Right here on this slide, I just put some examples of some houses you would find. As you can see, for the most part, every one of them incorporates wood frame construction. And set this one right here, you can see how compact it is, though it looks like some type of aluminum. Again, this resource is available and ready throughout Oymyakon. Right here to this one to the left, you can see some type of little outhouse or shed on the back where maybe they don't have to go outside or as far. So what if you have a visitor come visit you? You better really like them or have plenty of room in your place, because there's no hotels or commercial restaurants located in Oymyakon. So therefore, you better not only have enough room, but you better have enough food, which you gather throughout the summer too. So this brings us to our next point. How exactly do people keep warm? As I said earlier, wood is one of their main ways to build houses. It's also one of their main ways to stay warm. This resource is available and ready up there. There's no central air and heat due to the fact they cannot run natural gas lines due to the ground being permanently frozen. Most people stay warm by burning coal or wood throughout the winter months. Again, you don't think gas can freeze, but gas does have a freezing point, which we'll talk about later on. And, right here you can see I kind of put a picture of just your average wood burning stove you'd find up there. Of course, right here to your left, you got your wood. Up here on the wood burning stove, it looks like you have a pot of water, maybe for drinking or for eating. It's just, like I said, just your average wood burning stove you'd find up there. So what do these people eat? Due to the fact of the ground being permanently frozen, as I said many times throughout this presentation, no vegetation grows, so there's three main types of meat they eat up there. Again, they don't have the luxury such as steak and stuff. These individuals eat reindeer meat, horse meat, and fish. Again, they gather them throughout the summer, and they're really, really survivors up there because they have to learn how to do all that themselves. So where do they work? The majority of the residents do not hold a job, but rather have materials that have been passed down from generation to generation. The only real source of income up there is from hunting and fishing animals. Besides that, bartering is the main way to get materials. Again, there's no commercial hotels or restaurants up there, so they really have to rely on their outside resources and their instincts and survival to get them through the winter and gather everything. So you need to go to the store. You want a candy bar or something. You know, there's a single store that provides the town's bare necessity for the residents. Besides that, the residents act as reindeer breeders, ice fishermen, and hunters throughout the year. Um, you know, this store may include some as simple as uh, a piece to fix the flue on your wood burning stove, but they're not gonna have, like I said, candy bars or anything like that that we're used to going here in America and getting. Uh, the next thing we're gonna talk about is what do people wear in order to avoid frostbite. First thing, you may ask what frostbite is. Frostbite is an injury to soft tissue due to exposure to extreme cold. Usually it affects the fingers, the toes, and the nose as three main points. Of course, the longer you're exposed, the more body parts and tissue it's going to injure. So how long do you have to be outside in order to get frostbite? At negative 19 degrees Fahrenheit, it would only take 30 minutes to get frostbite on all three fingers, toes, and nose. So what do they wear in order to avoid this? Furs are extremely popular due to the warmth and the insulation they provide. But they can be quite costly. A full body suit can cost up to $1,500. Could you imagine spending $1,500 on a suit that you could basically put a down payment on a car as? So the next slide here, I've just put some examples of their clothing. To the left here, I got some shoes. Of course, again, everything includes fur. You got right here to your right, you just got a little hat, fur, of course. Left lower right here, you just got a fur jacket. And right here, you're looking at about $1,500 for that full body fur suit. But again, this is what they have to wear to avoid frostbite and get around these cold, rigid temperatures. So the next point we're going to talk about is how do people travel. First off, do people have cars? Yes, they have cars, but they have to leave them running due to the fact they have a fear of them not starting. Of course, as we all probably know, we got up on a winter day and our battery would be dead. Cold weather is hard on batteries. Also, vehicles have to be kept in a heated garage due to the fact it's so cold that gasoline can freeze. That's going back to my point earlier about the natural gas lines. Gas can freeze at negative 40 to 50 degrees Celsius. And as you can see in that chart, it does drop below that point sometimes. So, they either have to be kept in a heated garage or it's going to ruin your whole car. But there's not really that many places to go up there due to it not being very urbanized. And, of course, it has no commercial businesses or nothing like that. They do get around other forms of transportation. Other forms of transportation include, of course, your foot, your snowmobiles. Of course, you have your snow dogs and sled that we all seen before. Generally, the breed of dog they use up there is Siberian Huskies, due to the fact that this is what they was designed and this is the climate that they really thrive in. The next slide here, just got some pictures of their form of transportation. Right here to the left, I got a sled, again, with Siberian Huskies pulling it because, this is their nature and climate that they're used to. To your right here, you got a car that's been left out overnight, just kind of froze. To the left here, you can see an example of them leaving their car running. Looks like they're going to check on one another, maybe get some resources or some food. And then to your right here, you can see a backhoe that maybe was clearing a road or something and got stuck, or they left it overnight maybe. Ain't 100% what happened there. Can you hear me now? So, how do they communicate up there? There's no mobile phone service or Wi-Fi. Due to the fact there's no phone or tower designed to withstand them harsh temperatures. It'd be kind of bad to put a tower up there due to the fact that the ice that would accumulate towards the top of the tower, even below, could cause damage to the tower and also could interfere with the signal. so it'd be a big waste of money. So if you want to communicate, the real way of communicating is what they call snail mail, which is of course writing a letter and sending it over sleigh or cars, however they do it up there. Not 100%, I couldn't find that. So next we're going to talk about school life. Uh, it's a little bit different than what we have around here. We use Blackboard and YouTube and all these good resources while they still use pen and paper. Due to the fact again that there's no internet service, as we just discussed. The first flushing toilet was just placed in a school a couple years ago. Could you imagine being happy that you got a flushing toilet in your school? Like out of all things. Their school year runs April through December, due to this being the warmest months of the year. And, they're only required to go to school to get an education equivalent to a middle school education, due to the fact, they have to really learn how to survive and thrive in their environment. They don't really have to have all the knowledge that we have to have here in America. As far as I could tell, the subjects in school up there includes just simple subjects such as math, English. Of course, I have to discuss the weather and climate up there. Animal science, how to breed reindeer and how horses feed and how they mate and all that. And then, of course, you just got your simple earth science. So, nothing fancy, just a couple 5 subjects really is the main subjects they focus on. So snow day. The schools really get canceled up there. You want to skip a day of school. School does not get canceled unless it's negative 52 degrees Celsius. Could you imagine going to school in negative 52 degrees Celsius? So the next slide here, I kind of got a picture of one of their schools, and as you can see, it's nothing fancy. And again, going back to the wood frame construction, it's built of wood, and it looks like you just got a little professor here walking home from school. She looks a little bit old to be a teacher or anything. I mean a student, I'm sorry. And as you can see, ice on the power lines and ice everywhere on the building. I got a short summary here. Oymyakon is the coldest place on Earth that is permanently inhabited. Sorry, I lost my point there. It only has a population of 500 people. It's located in a subarctic climate. Houses are usually made of wood and only 500 square feet or less. Again, going back to the fact that they really have to stay warm and they want it as compact as possible. That way it keeps the heat in as long as possible. There's only 3 types of meat they really eat, which includes reindeer, horse meat, and ice fish. There's very limited education. They only have to go to equivalent of an 8th grade education here. Most individuals barter. Sorry, I don't know why it went ahead. Most individuals barter. They do not hold full-time jobs. Again, due to this place not being urbanized. And, they really don't have a bunch of place to work. And again, there's only one store. Could you imagine 500 people jockeying for position in one store? And then fur is the majority of the clothing due to the fact of the warmness and the insulation they provide. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation and learned a lot. If you got any questions, please feel free to comment below.